In regards to, I guess, in regards to young couples trying to figure out, you know, the way that they're going to move forward, and you talked about, you know, we do things by habit. Yeah, my generation saw their parents buy houses, right? So that's just what we did. Has that changed for the younger generation? It must have. The mathematics of it is just, to be honest, I get absolutely bamboozled when I get these young kids coming through saying, oh, you know, yeah, I've got approval to go to 1.2 mil and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, unreal. Is that changing with the younger people, or is there still an expectation that I can go out and buy a house and, you know, it's all hunky-dory? Or is that getting away from mainstream Australia?
I think that, well, in my experience, it's been that expectation is still there, and that's where there's a lot of that frustration and that division. I read so many media articles over, you know, which generation had it worse and all the rest, because they're considering it from it's my right to own a home. You know, we're not looking at it from the point of view that, you know, there's countries where you lease for your entire life. It's not a home ownership thing and all the rest. So I think it differs. I think with the younger millennial group, they are more about, you know, even like the ride sharing and the sort of freedom and ability to sort of move around. So I think for them, they're more about the rent vesting and looking at other things. But the group that I work with predominantly, which are that age group of 30 to 45, you know, their focus still is on, well, how do we settle down? How do we have home ownership and all that? Now, you know, when you compound that with Instagram and social media that's putting more and more pressure on us as to what the success look like, and we have to conform. My concern there is that there's so many people that are then going and overextending themselves because they feel like this is what I have to do. If I don't do that, I'm a bad spouse, I'm a bad parent, I'm not successful enough, you know, whatever negative sort of self-talk we'll put into that. And that's where I think we as advisors play a really important role, is to sort of pull them back and make them rethink their values and their priorities. You know, one of the things that I often talk to young couples about, we talk about, okay, well, what is it that's important to you? What do you want to be creating? And they say, well, I want to be able to have more time with the kids. I don't want to have to work so much, and all these sort of, you know, really lovely ideologies. And then we look at the way that they're making financial decisions. And it's about keeping up with the Joneses. It's, well, we're now going to get a bigger house and a bigger car and all the rest. And they end up going this way. This is what I want to achieve. This is where my decisions are taking me. And so I see it as my role and advisor's role to sort of be able to make them realize that that's what they're doing and help them reassess their decisions in terms of their values. So I'm going past the whole goal-based financial planning. I talk about values-based financial planning. What is it that's really important to you? How do we help you create space for that? Because once you're happy and fulfilled, the wealth is going to come. What most people, where they struggle, is that ultimately they're unfulfilled, they're unhappy, and there's retail therapy and other things that are going on that is then financially sabotaging their progress. So yeah, a long-winded way to answer the home ownership question, but it's fascinating to see the dynamics of play at the moment.
Well, you know yourself that all the studies show that as soon as you get, you know, as soon as you get a roof over your head, you're feeding yourself, you're paying the bills, you're kicking the balls from the door, the value of every incremental dollar goes down considerably, right? So once your base is really achieved, you know, how much utility you get from extra money, it actually, you know, it drops significantly as you go up, which is an interesting sort of, I guess, conclusion.